What's up, guys? My name is MadSquash924. Welcome back to another episode of Night Call Part 6. Today, we are serving more customers, learning their stories, hopefully finding more information about the judge, and, yeah, that's the plan. I think let's start out by, picking somebody up and then driving them along. Technically, the closest one is one of these two young ladies, so we could pick them up, or we could pick this individual up. Let's pick this one up. You recall that Balzac was born in this street, or was it Zola? Or maybe Victor Hugo? This individual's name is Peter DJ Watson Covello. The door opens, and your passenger collapses into the back seat. His eyes are hidden behind a pair of large, dark glasses. His clothes reek of sweat and booze. A clubber. He mumbles his destination and you start driving. A few words are exchanged. The weather, taxes, traffic. Then you can tell it's coming. The inevitable conversation about the killer. Some bits of information, rumors, things overheard. You make a mental note of what you've heard. Who knows? It might come in handy. Your mind wanders. Your eyes vaguely scan the store windows. The sodium light coming off the street lamps feels like it's dripping into your brain. You're falling asleep. You need a bit of music to keep you awake. You turn on the radio, pressing on the dial to find a station you like. 80s rock ballad. Too soft. Behind you, your passenger is snoring. Barely. But you can hear him. Gregorian chant. Mind-numbing. Some slow rap song filled with fake female orgasm noises. Not with a passenger in the car. Two journalists discussing news evidence in the investigation into the judge's murders. The information they share, salon talk, nothing more, seems important nonetheless. An ad interrupts the torrent of words, and you change the station. Classical music again. The flute grates on your ears. Electronic music. You like the rhythm, but just aren't in the mood. Stop. You lift your hand from the dial. The music plays on. Not bad. Turn it up so I can hear better. Sorry, I didn't want to wake you. His voice sounds like it's coming from a deep cavern. No, I wasn't sleeping, just sobering up. He leans forward. Not bad at all. You hear the touch of an accent, probably an American, but someone who lived most of his life in France. Leave it on until they say the musician's name. The music continues. There's something turning in the background. A persistent melody that gets higher and higher. Your client mumbles. I bet, The song is coming to an end, and the announcer in a piercing foghorn voice throws out the name of a DJ you've never heard of. DJ Blunt. I knew it. You like his stuff? Yeah, it's a good product. It's pretty conventionally structured, but it's super popular. He snickers. Still, I taught that dude everything he knows. Everything. In '94, at a party at the Rex Club, there was this kid who started playing and started buying me rounds. He waves his hand around. A kid, no older than 17. I thought he was hitting on me. He chuckles. he would have been disappointed. He shakes his head. No, he wanted me to teach him how to spin. I told him no, but you can watch. And that's exactly what he did every week until we moved to the Osiris. He sold X to pay his way in. He briefly snickers. And now he's on the radio. Silence fills the cab. Weighted silence. You can tell your passenger's mind is spinning. You know what he did this summer? He was the opener for the soccer championship at Stade de France. It was huge. Wonder what people would think if they knew he was selling drugs at 17. He lowers his voice a bit. If they only knew. Your passenger clams up. Let's keep an eye on the road. You notice a woman crossing the street at the crosswalk. She speeds up as she walks by two men talking loudly. We ran into each other at the Ibiza 4 or 5 years ago. You almost jump at the sound of his voice. I was spinning in this little club. Yeah, really little. But it was something. He totally ignored me, of course. Even with those dark glasses, you can see how angry he is. TJ motherfucking cunt. He suddenly starts waving his arms around. He rummages through his pockets as he says, your radio, can it take a flash drive? You glance at your radio. You don't really know what he's talking about. I don't know. No worries. He lays his phone in the space between the two front seats. Listen to this. It's what I played tonight. It's mine. He sets his phone to play. But, you know, people were barely dancing. A drum machine playing a hard-edged beat in the background. They were talking, taking each other's pictures. 4 notes started to dance in the cab. They barely touched. Never kiss anymore. A perfect dance beat becomes progressively audible. All that. A pure electronic crescendo plays. Is over. There's a break in the music. Synthesized strings calm the song down without slowing it down. At least, the song is getting intense again, explodes as your passenger drifts off. I got people dancing. The song keeps going for another minute, then stops. Your passenger doesn't budge. You drive to the rhythm of his snoring. The sound fills the cab. Ideas are bouncing through your head, like they do every time you find yourself alone. This guy in the back seat is too old to be young. You look at your own hands. They look like they're suddenly aging in time lapse. You close your eyes a second. Only a second. When you open them, you reached your destination and have pulled over to the sidewalk. You tap your passenger's knee, and he wakes with a start. Shit. Yeah? We are here, sir. Yeah, great. He rummages through his pockets and hands you a few rumpled bills for fare. Thanks, I hoped you liked it. Silence. The music, I mean, my music. The song I played you. I should have been in the spotlight, you see. 15 minutes of fame. Just a minute of... He stifles a burp. You hear him mumble as he leaves the taxi. Those whiskey and Origami has really screwed with my system. You see him stagger toward his building. It takes him several tries to get the door open. He finally disappears inside. You heave a long sigh. Okay, come on. Made some money. We need to make more cash, though. We are still behind on our cash flow, which is not good. And there's nobody around us, which is also not good. So I guess the closest one is her. Let's go pick her up. Unless I see somebody important. There's a taste in your mouth. Iron, blood, 2 fingers on your lips to let you know everything is fine. Berenze Fabia. Place these feet. Okay, let's go. The woman getting in your taxi does not look like she's at her best. Mouth lolling open, eyes unfocused, out of breath. She looks like she's just been punched in the gut. Or like she saw a ghost. She struggles to take her backpack off and makes several attempts. The strap gets caught in the buckle of her overalls. She sighs and gets annoyed. During this whole process, she doesn't look up at you once. She takes a deep breath. Place the fetus? Her voice is emotionless, more of a trickle than a voice. Coming out of a childish body, it sounds like it took every bit of energy she had to get those words out. She takes her phone out of her bag, hesitates, starts swiping left to right and right to left. She's completely absorbed. You think she can make out the reflection of a colorful mobile game in her glasses. Silence settles heavily into the cab. It is broken occasionally by something that sounds like a hiccup or a repressed sob. At a red light, she raises her head and lowers it a second. Her gaze crosses yours in the rearview mirror. Something about her makes you feel like you've got something caught in your throat. Rough night? She looks up, surprised you broke into her bubble. Her gaze darkens a bit more. Yeah, you might say so. She is not crying, not shaking, just the occasional spasm. A few seconds go by. You attempt to focus on the road, but despite both of your efforts to pretend nothing is wrong, her emotions invade the cab. She finally takes the plunge, like she's jumping off a cliff. Can I talk to you? Still the same trickle of a voice, and great lengths taken to control it. I'm sorry, it's stupid, but I think I need someone to talk to. I'm listening. She takes a deep breath. I need to say it out loud. You stay silent. You sense she needs you to be silent. That guy touched me in that bar. Her voice is twisted like a nearly empty tube of toothpaste. Tears collect in her eyes. You feel really heavy. She starts again. Her tone is slightly different. She sounds more confident. Like saying those words out loud made her feel a bit more alive again. Or like she wanted to be stronger. He came up behind me and touched me way too much. Her voice breaks over the last few syllables. The silence in the cab absorbs everything, even the noise of traffic. You don't even hear the ambulance going by, lights flashing. I wanted to talk about it, but I also don't really know what to say. Just say whatever comes to mind. It took me way too long to understand what was happening. way too long. I didn't get it. I was petrified. She looks about 30 years old, maybe. Or not far from 30. But you get the impression you're driving a little girl who just had her innocence stolen. One minute I was standing there in the crowd. The Fiorosa is like my second home. I always go there to hang out with friends because they all live in the neighborhood. And our places are all too small. She takes a breath. You follow suit, unconsciously. Everything was fine. There was a concert. I was happy. I had a bit to drink, but not too much. It was packed, but the music was sweet. It was a good night. I was having a good night. Another breath. You know what it's like when you're packed into a crowd like sardines? You don't really know who's touching you, but that's just the way crowds are. She lays her telephone on the seat and leans forward, elbows on her knees and head in her hands. Her backpack falls on the floor. She doesn't make the slightest move to pick it up. I didn't get it. Fuck! Why didn't I get it? I didn't even react. She stares at you. Why didn't I react? Well, let's say nothing. And starts to cry softly, cradling her head in her hands. She says nothing, but you sense it's better to let her be. The road goes by. Tears stream down. Something terrible is happening in back, but you don't know what to do. The taxi pulls up to Place de Fetes. She pays you, but continues to spasm. When she gets out of the cab with her backpack and overalls, you get the impression of a little girl is walking away. You sit alone with a strange and unpleasant sensation. Something pulls from somewhere deep in your guts, all the way up to the base of your neck. Made you feel like you were useless, incapable of sharing in her loneliness. You feel somehow responsible in spite of yourself. You sigh and drive off. That was very, very sad. Okay, we're next to a gas station. Not that we need to go to the gas station. Hello. That is suspect, looks like, because they have a glowing yellow border, I think. Let's go to that one. At this time of night, you and a public matron is drunk are the only things moving on the road. You've been blinded by its flashing orange light. Oh, it's Hervé again. Hervé Graillul. Okay. If last time we saw him, I believe he looked like he was gonna beat the shit out of somebody. The door opens. It's Hervé. He greets you with his bizarre verbal tick, as usual. Getting damn cold out now. Ugh. Hi, Hervé. You start the engine. Your passenger keeps looking over his shoulder. Clearly worried. Is everything okay, Hervé? Yeah, sure. No worries. His voice trails off. He seems to be collecting himself. It's just there's a cop on my tail. Jail. A cop. Has anybody come around asking about me? What do you mean? You know, like from the crime squad? Nah, nobody's been talking to me about you. That guy's been driving me crazy. Asking all those questions, digging up my past. You know what I mean? Digging up your past. Like my old girlfriends and stuff where I used to live and, why I left the shelter. first I thought it was that killer, you know, the serial killer. That he was after me. And why would he be after you? Because I saw his face. He pauses. Just enough time for your brain to process the information. You gotta look at the judge. Your passenger gives you a funny smile. I mean, I saw him in profile. Mile. Well, I saw him, you know, a few weeks ago when he did his last victim. I was like sleeping in an alley just across the street from where, you know, he killed the last victim. My stomach hurt and I couldn't sleep and, you know, I saw him in profile. He had this weird way of walking, sort of hunched over, as if he were tired. That's all. Yeah, that's all I saw. He had like black gloves and the streets were dark. I didn't see anything else. He's staring at you. But why do you care, man? I think I saw him too. The killer? Yeah. Shit. I didn't know. What happened? When? There's a note of urgency in his voice. Yeah, it was 3 months ago. It must have been scary. You've got to be careful with these guys like that. They're crazy. Not right in the head. His face creases into a cruel smile, like a naughty child. And I know what I'm talking about. But man, if that cop comes around and talks to you again, tell him to go fuck off from me, alright? A note of anger has crept back into his voice. Damn cops. They never there when you need them. I sure as hell ain't going to help. Yup. They go kick sick. He looks away furious. You keep quiet and focus on the road. All of a sudden, your passenger gives the seat back in front of him a thump. Stop right there. Here, near. You slow down and pull over as soon as you can. Okay, I'm out of here. Is everything all right? Yeah, sure, no worries. Just a little business to take care of. The door opens, then closes, and Hervé vanishes into the darkness. You open the window on your side. You're dying for a cigarette. To relieve the pressure. To calm your racing heart. You take a deep breath, then drive away. We made no money off of that, but we got some information, I suppose. Which is good, about the judge. Let's see here. Maybe we should go help out Santa Claus. Yeah, let's help Santa out. Santa. Your next passenger smells like beer. No, it's even worse. It's like every single fiber of his Santa suit has been soaking in a keg. Come on, dash away! His breath is 96% brandy. Your eyes are starting to sting. I'm parked somewhere near the Champs-Élysées on shit. The name of the street is, His head is spinning, and he does his best to hang on to the door. Impasse, It'll come back to me. Go ahead and drive. You start driving, and silently wonder how to ask your passenger if he's had enough money to cover your fare. You glance back at your passenger. He's mumbling to himself, but you can't quite make out what he's saying. Christmas is over. So why is he still dressed up? So, what's the suit for? He turns to look at you. Wide-eyed. Suit. Well, yeah, the Santa suit. Silence. More silence. Is he so drunk he doesn't realize he's still wearing a costume? This is no costume, kid. This is what I wear to work. Just like you, you know? He points at his clothes. You don't dress like that in real life, do you now? He stares at you and bursts out laughing. I'm messing with you, kid. He lowers his voice. He's confiding in you. After working my ass off all year long, I like to hit my favorite pubs. I get monumentally wasted. He guffaws. Here, in Paris, there's a bunch of bistros, perfect for just an occasion. No one talks to you, and they have a white wine so dry it eats away at the inside of your mouth. And so many different types of brandy. Pear brandy, cognac. He closes his eyes in a delight. And sometimes I order just one eeny weeny beer. It cleanses the palate. He's almost whispering. Okay, usually it's not one of them fancy microbrews there. He jumps. Oops, but don't tell anyone, okay? Just imagine if people found out Santa Claus thought the beer here tasted like piss. He laughs, a sparkling laugh. When he stops, it's just to throw out non-committally. Anyway, you can't say anything anymore. Honestly, with all the trouble I go to, people just leave me the fuck alone. All those fair weather activists, they still want their little snot-nosed miracles to get the latest stupid toy. Oh hey, speaking of snot-nosed kids, what is it with this manure pile of a new generation? 50 years back, you could give a kid a book and he'd go on about it his whole life, all starry-eyed. But today's little whiners? What an eyesore. Fucking hell. They want to have it all, but they don't like anything. They all have GSMs when they are 8. Those things cost a whole month's wages. How can you possibly make them happy off of that? How? He's staring at you, waiting for you to answer. No idea. He raises his hand. At least you're honest enough to say you don't know, and I appreciate your honesty. He closes his eyes, like he's taking a moment's rest. You want me to tell you what they really want. What kids these days want are machine guns and dolls whose hair you can fix. Seems to have calmed down for a second, but it was just an illusion. Speaking of which, both girls and boys like those dolls whose hair you can fix. He twitches his mustache in silence. Back when I still made toys for kids, I can tell you they couldn't care less about them. Couldn't give a damn. They just wanted to have fun, play, laugh, and forget that their parents were losers. He leans over to you, rife with anger. Fuck. That's the real problem, I'm telling you. Parents are losers and idiots. Putting kids into this world, those guys haven't got a clue. Am I right or am I right? I mean, have you seen the state of the ice cap these days? Have you? Huh? Because there's not much of it left. He pauses. Now, I can't say it's all bad. I don't have as many polar bears coming into my yard. Damn nasty beasts. Vicious. Mean. I'm not sad to be rid of them. He heaves a long sigh through his beard. Before, things were different. Tears form at the corner of his eyes. Shit. I can't talk about the past without crying like a little girl. He throws you a sideways glance. No need to stare. You don't even have time to react, and he starts back into his rant. I remember you, you know. To tell the truth, I remember everyone. Every single person. You were such an angry one. So terribly angry. And your letters, your handwriting, holy fuck were they hell to decipher. Don't worry though, the elves handle all that for me. You could hear a hint of disgust in his voice when he brought up the elves. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the time to do nothing. Yeah, you were just furious. It's like someone punched you in the stomach. Your brother was giving you hell. Someone wrenching your gut. Man, what an... He suddenly thinks of something and stops talking. His gaze wanders outside. Yeah, anyway. Let's, talk about something else. How do you know all that? You still don't get who I am. You stare at him in the rearview mirror. Look, kid, I'm not gonna spell it out for you. And something tells me you'd rather avoid the subject. A little something called jail. Another punch to the stomach. So, there's your Christmas present. We're not gonna talk about it. He smiles, opens his eyes wide. Wait, I think we're almost there. Slow it down a bit, kid. He searches outside for... What are we looking for? We're looking for my sleigh, kid. What else? He looks at you with pity. It shouldn't be too hard to find. There's the sleigh and a couple of half dozen reindeer. He heaves a funny sigh. I'm sure it's like in an alleyway somewhere. Oh, right. Turn over here. Yes, turn right. You obey and go up a street. You're on a few seconds before. A few meters down, your passenger stifles a yelp. Oh shit, it was right here. Drive around the block. You turn again. In back, your passenger is mumbling. I'm gonna have to get one of those thingamajigs, GPSs. It helps find my sleigh more easily. You eventually pull over in an alleyway. No lights, a few empty office buildings, and some trash cans that haven't been emptied for days. Kid, sorry about before. I didn't mean, to bring up any sore points. He pays his fare. Watch your back, kid. He gets out and slams the door. He slips on the wet sidewalk, grabs onto a street lamp. With a heavy and awkward step, he clumps along the alley. You sit for a moment, watching him. At the end of the alleyway, he starts rummaging through a pile of boxes, pushes a trash can on wheels aside, and disappears. A few minutes go by, and... nothing. You turn the key and start driving again. You open the window for a second, hoping to get rid of the alcohol fumes. Something tells you they'll stick around for a while. And I think with that, this is actually a fantastic spot to end today's episode on. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you guys did, make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think of today's episode, of course. And if you're new to my channel or have been watching me for a little while, and you haven't done so as of yet, and you like what you see, feel free to subscribe to me, MadSquash924 over on YouTube, my channel is right there, and don't forget to ring the bell so you can get notified for when a new episode comes out. On the next episode, it looks like we have time for a couple more customers, and then we should probably do one of these again. But money-wise, we are still kind of behind on our cash flow, which is not great. In fact, if this guy's still here, we should probably do him next, because he's one of our actual suspects. It just kind of sucks that he's literally at the opposite end of town. But with that, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!